is Minu Mehta from IES Management College. I want to know whether this pro-diversity initiatives of the corporates end at entry level, or do we have hand-holding, mentoring, and what about the glass ceilings? Have they shifted? Are they invisible or very much there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, will I take that?
Yeah, you take it.
So there's,
Any question on the glass ceiling, Hema should take,
yeah.
for a variety of reasons that we will not mention here.
But, so, there's a very interesting study, and let me go back to data. It's called the leaking pipeline. And it shows across at least Southeast Asia, the markets, the drop in women gender between junior and middle and senior. And between junior and middle, the drop is highest in India. Okay? And middle and senior, it's much higher in others. We are not that high. So the hypothesis is, of course, the mommy track. But apart from the mommy track, there is also a very interesting dimension, and I'm not going to talk about the glass ceiling as much as what's called daughter's guilt. And this is a very interesting dimension because we are extended families where elder care is also held by the family. And after a woman has established herself, and apart from the mommy track, which is quite talked about, you feel you have to give back to elders. And you move out of the fast track to support those constituents in your family. So what I'm trying to say with this point is that analysis like this that companies are now doing is a great way to ensure that this aspect of diversity remains through the life cycle of the levels in the organization and not just at entry. Another study which came from the West, which again highlights the point that you cannot just focus it on it, and companies are looking, is for the partner selection that Deloitte did. They found that they were selecting equally at entry, but when it came to partner selection, it was 1:3. And when they studied that, they thought it was because people were falling off the mommy track, etc. It was not that. The kind of projects that women were getting assigned to were the traditional industries. Men were getting sunrise industries. When it came time for partner selection, there were enough partners in the traditional industry. Sunrise industry required new, men got better chance. So what seems apparent may not actually be the case. And it's analysis like this which actually show that companies are focusing on different aspects of the level, but maybe the focus is so much at the entry and buddying, mentoring, having these external coaches. GE, for example, has a great scheme. There may not be enough buddies inside, so they encourage people to have external coaches and mentors who are women, who can be role models, who can actually share their lifestyle and stories with you. So I think people are doing. Maybe they need to do much more. At entry level, it's all apparent. Like Pratyush said, what is apparent gets done. But at the other levels, it's maybe a leaking pipeline. But if you keep the eyes on the ball, then I think progressive companies are doing several things to keep this.
We are going to allow this gentleman to ask his question, and then we're going to wrap up. Unless there's any other lady in the audience who has a question. Yeah.
Bhupen Chera from Roman Group of Industries. Actually, I'm glad I'm here. Actually, I came here by default. The Shine HR, they are smart marketing guys. They pushed me in. I'm one of the sponsors here. So I just came in, I didn't know what the hell I will be doing here, but I'm glad here. The kind of subjects what you discussed. Just 1.5 years back, about 10 of the second generation well-settled business people came together to actually work on CSR instead of, like we used to donate. Then we decided, okay, instead of donating, let us build up, the base where we can help people grow. That was the concept we came in, and this was, fortunately, we had our business friends meet, like Women's Kitty, we have a business friends kitty. In that, fortunately, we had people from like Marwari, Punjabi, Sindhi, all business community. Except, unfortunately, we were not having any Muslim friend. I realized that the first thing I'll do is get the Muslim friend now in our this. Because when we experimented that, we decided, okay, let's put in our few of our businesses, with a different brand name into kitty in a one particular marketing organizations and get from each and everyone's community, for whomever we want to do something good, that we will shape them up. We'll give them the kind of ambience, we will identify their core competency, assess their the capabilities, and take them in incubation and then support them. So we started with about around 100 million rupees fund. Everybody chipped in 1 crore or 50 lakhs, 2 crores, whatever. And everybody brought in their family, friends, or from their own families or from their community. Everybody chipped in about 10, 15 people. And we built up organizations about around 130 people. That was 18 months back what we started. About that time we were having all 20 people we started with. Today we have 130 people in that particular group. The company is Roman Oasis Corporations. We put in the company's name Roman and then Oasis Corporation, where everybody is now a shareholder in that. Surprisingly, what happened, those people, we had picked up people below poverty line. They were all below 20,000 was the poverty line we had for. Today, they started somewhere around between 10 to 20,000. Today, almost in 18 months' time, their salaries went to almost 3 times. We put in efforts. And this was because this was tremendous diverse group. And people, from all the fields. That is, we put in a one business entity. They were from marketing, manufacturing, services, finance, accounts. And we taught them only business, how to really go on your own. And we left them in one room. These are all people from diverse communities. And only us, we did one thing was we took one professional HR, we gave them that responsibility, and he built up on them. And today, just about a month back, we had decided that yes, let us take up people from different community, different HR people from each and every one community, and we expand that thing over there, So we are still under discussions. But when I came down here, I realized that it's a very important subject, what you are talking, diversity. We did it absolutely unconsciously and unprofessionally. We just did it out of our business guts, nothing else. But today I could see potential if anybody builds up a business on diversity base, I think it's very easy to go global. Because all these people whom we have taken up, these 130 people, what are they telling us? Mumbai, you give us an opportunity, we can take this company global. Each and every person, there are minimum 3 to 4 people are somewhere around in the world. 1 crore NRI families are there. So these people have somebody over there in the world.
Good
and
point.
they are talking about it, So I'm very happy when you have really this diversity subject, what you have picked up. I think this is really at the corporate level, it should be thought of very highly and taken into account. Thank you very much for whatever the feedback you have given us. I'm very happy. Thank you.
I know I said no points, only questions, but he's a sponsor, right? So, yeah, okay. We are done for time. Yes, Rini says we are done for time. I'm sorry. I know you have a mic, but we are really done for time. And there's this red thing which is flashing, which says time's up, right? So thank you very much. I think, 10 years ago, we probably wouldn't even have had this discussion. You look at Krishna and you look at Pratyush, they both work for progressive companies which have clear diversity agendas. 10 years ago, I don't know how many companies would have diversity agendas. Hema's given us lots of examples. So I think it's a relevant topic. It's an area where lots of work needs to be done. The panel's been fantastic. Thank you, Pratyush. Thank you, Hema. And thank you, Krishna. And you've been a great audience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sukumar. I'd like to now very quickly call upon Mr. Amit Garg, Head HT Digital, to please present each of our panelists with a small token. We have one for you too, Sukumar. You don't want it? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for our panelists. If I could request you all to please take your seats down below, and we will move on to our next session. It's not a session. I know it's been listed as a networking time, but we're going to do something very interesting with all of you. Okay, as we quickly make the changes on the dais, let me tell you what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very interesting session planned to re-energize all of you. I know that it's a little late in the evening, but we'd like to just give you a little boost of energy. So we're going to do an interesting exercise which involves music. And this is with a company called Difference, which is a drum circle. Some of you may have participated in a drum circle before or have heard of something called a drum circle. For those of you who haven't and don't have an idea of what really I'm talking about, it is a very interesting exercise. It's not very difficult. You don't have to be specially talented to be able to do this. What really happens is that you drum in a circle. So the entire hall, all of you are going to be participants of this. And when you do drumming in a group, what it does is breaks through language, educational levels, any other gender or organizational barriers. And in the process, you unite, and you unite all the diverse strengths and talents of the individuals in the organization, and you're all allowed to contribute and be heard. So Difference is the facilitator for this drum circle. They were founded in 2005. They were the first company to introduce group drumming in India, and they address the need for people engagement in organizations by focusing on the experiential rather than theory. And this process has enabled them to create and deliver learning, motivation, and communication through the most innovative solutions. And this has a great impact and a very effective outcome. So I'd like to just invite up on stage two of our facilitators who will guide you through the various drumming techniques. Perhaps they will use vocalization, maybe body percussion, and you will have a really enjoyable rhythmic journey of beats. And all you have to do is let yourself go. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bopanna and Abhilash, our two facilitators. And I'm going to leave Bopanna to explain how you're going to do this, because you think you don't have drums, but you all have drums. So he's going to tell you how you're going to do this.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Okay, the energy has gone down a bit. Good evening, everybody. Okay, my name is Abhilash. This is Bopanna. We come from a company called Difference. And our primary principle in our team is to create an experience. As you can see, we both have a drum, but this session is not about us performing, it's all of us coming together. So there is a small surprise for each and every one of you. If you could just peep under your tables, there's a little surprise there. And for the back, it's under the chairs. So does everybody have a drum? Can I hear it? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, brilliant. Let me give a quick summary of this. This instrument is called a djembe. It's an African instrument. How many of you have read Phantom comics? Yeah? Brilliant. So in that comic, this is the exact instrument that was used to communicate. So it's not just an instrument to play music. It is also an instrument to send across certain signals or certain warning signs. So the tribes used to send across certain patterns, music patterns, which would let the villagers know what is coming, what is going, is it at a threat, or if it's anything good, all kind of answers to it. So we're going to try playing this instrument. It's a very simple instrument to play, but at the same time, it's a very powerful instrument. It's got 3 simple techniques. And I can assure you, by the time you know these 3 techniques, all of you over here are going to be drummers. Do you agree when I say all of you are going to be drummers? Yes? OK, brilliant. So to begin with, the first technique, I'd request all of you to lift your dominant hand. Get your fingers close together. Cup your hand. And using this cross section, play on the center of the drum. Wait. Now, the idea of drum circle is all of us coming together to create that one rhythm, one pattern. It's not about individual performance over here. It's everyone coming together to contribute to the higher agenda, or the higher possibilities. So everyone with their hands up. And I'd request all of you to play with me. So are you ready? Yes. OK. Both the hands. One, two, three, four. Wow. So that was your first technique. Now, second technique, again, your dominant hand up. This time, keep your thumb away. And using these 4 fingers, you're not going to play on the center, but slightly off, like this. OK? Together. One, two, three, four. Brilliant. So that was the second technique. Third technique, again, hands up. This time, spread your fingers across, and you're going to go further away from the drum. So the first one is the center. Second one was off. The last one is going to be on the rim. Patience. All right. One, two, three, four. OK. So these are your 3 techniques. So we will be shuffling between these 3 techniques to create the next sequence that's creating a rhythm. Now, this is not a rhythm. Being quiet is also not a rhythm. It's the mix of both. You need to listen and respond. So when you use both together, you create a rhythm. So I will begin with a very simple rhythm. Listen to me and join in when you're comfortable. Ready? Ready? OK. I'm going to stop, but I want all of you to continue. Let's try taking it a little faster. Take it a little slower. Build up your pace. Everybody. One, two, three, four. Wow. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. How are your hands? Are you cursing me right now? No? Okay, very simple thing. Just fold your thumb in, stretch your hands out, fold your thumb in, make it into a fist, and pump your fist. You'll immediately feel your circulation coming back. Your hands feel much more relaxed. Yes? So you're ready for more? Okay, brilliant. So what we did now is all of us coming together to create a rhythm. Now what we're going to try is to understand how well you listen to each other and you understand what is coming across. So what we're going to do is this side from the camera, over this side is one section, and this is another section. So this is one side, this is one side. This two tables are part of this side. Okay? So this is one team, this is one team. Now this section is going to play a completely different rhythm. This section is going to play completely a different rhythm. But you need to listen to each other to complement each other. So are you ready to try that out? Yes? Okay, brilliant. So in music, we have a very simple count, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the most basic principle that we follow, and that's what creates music for us. So we're going to use the same principle. What we're going to do is this section is going to play the counts 1 and 2. This section is going to play 3 and 4. Now the key factor here is maintaining your pulse. It's like your heartbeat. You have to maintain it. If you know your pulse is going fast, there's something wrong. So keep your pulse. Keep a mental count in your head. So the tempo, the pace that you will be following is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Keep a mental count. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 1, 2. Now this side, like I said, is going to play only 1 and 2. 3. So your pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This side, you're playing 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. One, two, three, four, stop. Wow. That was absolutely superb. Okay, so as of now, how many believe that you're drummers? Brilliant. So that makes it much more interesting for me to throw the next challenge to you guys. So we created a rhythm. We created patterns, we listened to each other, we achieved 50% of what we've got. Now what we're going to do is taking it one step higher, where assuming I'm a client, I'm very specific with what I want. I'm sure all of you know that. So what I'm going to do now is what we call a question and answer. Okay? In Indian terms, we call it jugalbandi. I call on this instrument, you respond the same thing back. A simple example. Yeah? It's on call, answer. It's only once. I call, you answer. We'll try it again. That's it. Call, answer. Direct. No repetition. But it's not going to be so easy. It's going to get a little more trickier. But are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. I'll call, then you answer. Thank you so much for being part of this. I hope this has got you energized. I hope this experience goes furthermore and gets implied even at your workspace. This is Abhilash and Bopana signing off. Thank you so much.
I think you can give a round of applause to them using your drums. Thank you so much, Bopana and Abhilash. I think, ladies and gentlemen, you've been suitably re-energized, and we've got a panel for you now. That is going to be the HR panel, and I'd like to invite them up on stage, and as they come up, I will introduce them to you. So if I could call Mr. Ashutosh Telang, the Executive Vice President and Head HR Marico Limited. Mr. Telang. Since joining Marico in 1999, he's held several leadership positions in corporate HR and organizational development. His unique and insightful strategies have been crucial in orchestrating organizational change through leadership development and culture building. Prior to Marico, Mr. Telang was associated with pharmaceutical companies like Merck and Ranbaxy Laboratories. Over the years, his experience has covered various hues of human resources, from talent sourcing, talent management and development, to employee relations and organization development. Ms. Anuranjita Kumar, the country Human Resource Officer of Citi, India. She's responsible for all franchise-wide HR activities in India, In a career spanning over 20 years in human resource management, she's worked across geographies in Europe, Middle East and Africa, Asia Pacific, and the US. She began her career with P&G in 1994 and then joined Citi in 1995. And during her career, she has focused on strategic capabilities of HR, global talent management, and cultivating a shared and vibrant corporate culture. She is also currently a member of the esteemed CII National Committee on Human Resources and the chairperson of the HR Committee of AmCham India, and actively engages as an executive coach for senior executives. Mr. Adil Malia, Group President, HR SR Group. Mr. Malia has 27 years of global work experience spanning India, Southwest Asia, the Middle East, and the US. He joined SR from Coca-Cola India, where he was heading the HR function for India and Southwest Asia. And he started his career at the Godrej Group, where he spent close to 9 years handling roles ranging from sales to HR to training and development. I'd like to also invite Mr. Vinay Razdan, the Chief Human Resource Officer at Idea Cellular. Mr. Razdan is part of the Executive Committee and Management Committee at Idea. He joined Idea in 2006 and has a total work experience of about 24 years. Prior to joining Idea, he worked with HCL Technologies as Associate Vice President HR for over 5 years and with ITC Limited as HR Manager for over 12 years. To be the moderator for this session, we have Mr. Nishchay Suri, Partner in Country Head, People and Change, KPMG. He joined KPMG from Mercer Consulting, where he was the Managing Director and CEO for their India operations and has worked with global and local corporations in areas of HR strategy and transformation, leadership and talent management, and rewards in more than 25 countries. He's also a global partner with Hewitt Associates, where he held a number of strategic leadership roles in the consulting business, both in India and other parts of the Asia-Pacific region. So, ladies and gentlemen, the HR leaders will discuss how question for diversity as a, or rather, they will discuss the how question for diversity as a business strategy. So, over to you, Mr. Suri.
Thank you. The one thing I'm convinced about is all of you can follow instruction. The thing that disappoints me is we needed an energizer before we came on stage. Hopefully, you won't need that through the session. I'm very pleased to be here and amongst all of you and an esteemed panel, friends for a period, and therefore we take liberties as well. You'd see that through our conversations. Hopefully that will be evident that the candid conversations we have are in the interest of provoking new questions and answering old ones. I thought to leave you with things that you probably remember about my friends. I'd introduce them keeping the subject of diversity in mind. Maybe we should also have you guess who these individuals might be if they weren't evidently represented in their bios as they were being read out. Who do you think the boxer on this panel is? So actually we have two, both Ashutosh and Adil. And Adil's claim to fame is he knocked Sanjay Gandhi out in a boxing match at the Bombay University level rounds. So that's his claim to fame. Who seems to be the type that spends time gardening and with flowers and trees, and who seems the type here on this panel? Okay, it's Ashutosh. So being a boxer doesn't prevent him from being a good gardener as well. This is an obvious one, but nevertheless, I shall test your ability to put identifiers with religion. Who's the Kashmiri on the panel? So Vinay and the current Kashmiri population on the workforce is in decimals. That will tell you a story. We'll get into that. And finally, here I'm sure probably get the answer right. Who's the woman on the panel? And
that was the toughest one, Mr.
But apart from that, Anu's claim to fame is she's worked across 4 continents and across multiple cultures. So I thought that would be something that you'd remember, because I'm sure you've attended a lot of conferences where the bios are read out for probably the speakers more than the audience. They feel good when they come on stage. With that, welcome to this very interesting conversation. We'll try and not be repetitive. I attended part of the dialogue we just had with different people on the panel. So we'll focus more on the how of diversity. How is it that we can actually action diversity at the workplace? What are some of the challenges that we faced with? But before we do so, I believe it's important to, again, since your motor skills are working, I want to ensure that you can also, your cognitive and comprehensive skills are equally polished as we get into this debate. I'm going to read out a few statements, and what I'd like the audience to do is, if you agree with these statements, please raise your hand. If you agree with these statements, please raise your hand. Indians have higher tolerance to diversity. Indians have higher tolerance to diversity. So that seems to be the majority believe that they do. Americans are pushy negotiators. Americans are pushy negotiators. The majority don't believe they are pushy negotiators. So you obviously haven't dealt with Americans. Women multitask better than men. Oh.
Look at this.
Should we also put up our hands? Adil, should we also put up our hands? This is the one time when I moderate such conversations on diversity, I wished I were a woman. Gen Y believes, so Gen Y, and let's draw the line, below the age of 32, below the age of 32, okay, just to be clear about the definition of Gen Y. Gen Y believes in success at any cost. In the minority. They are more virtuous. They believe in practicing values. Single individuals spend more hours at work compared to married. Wow.
Depends on the stage of life and marriage.
People who work part-time are less likely to get a high performance rating as compared to individuals that work full-time. People that work part-time are less likely to get a high performance rating as compared to those that work full-time. That also seems, well, divided house. Now, what I've read out to you are stereotypes. And diversity is about celebrating individuality. When stereotypes present negative prejudices, so many of these had positive prejudices, but the converse, if you're in the minority, have negative prejudices, they create conflict. And the ability to deal with that conflict ensures whether or not you're actually serving a business interest or taking away from it. With that, let me open up our conversation today. We start with Adil. Adil, and if you didn't know, Adil is also a PhD in psychology, philosophy. Take your pick.
You are doing research into my profile. You find out.
Adil, the notion of diversity, and if we can begin with diversity at a macro level, what's the story with diversity as it presents itself at a macro level?
Thank you. In fact, if you look at the entire literature of management, the first article on diversity is written in 1968. And the first article on talent management is dated 3 years before that, 1965. And since then, God knows, around 70 years have passed, and we are still constantly trying to find solutions to inclusion and diversity issues. And yet, we have not come to a conclusion for a variety of reasons, which are larger macrocosmic reasons, and I'll come to that. But having not found the solution, it tells me only one answer to it, which is very beautifully said out in this couplet. It says, है सौ के सफर इतना कि एक मुद्दत से हमने मंजिल भी न पाई और रास्ता भी न बदला. We have continued our journey of identifying the causes of the problems, but have not put sufficient amount of interventions and programs to try and see how to get over it, and that continues to be the plight with which we are facing. Corporations are actually only microcosmic representation of the macrocosmic sociology. And therefore, whatever are the kind of categorizations and classifications of society, as you see in behavioral patterns of the society, they are bound to get covered in the microcosmic representation in an organization. So the larger malaise that we are talking about of celebrating inclusion is actually a social problem which is finding its reflection in a corporation rather than a corporate problem which we are trying to solve.
So we don't have to guess who the PhD on this panel is after that introduction. I think that's evidently clear. Right. Let me go to Vinay. Vinay, you've done some interesting research and have some data snapshots to share with the group. Would you be kindly willing to share those?
I will be. Can you hear me at the back? Okay. So first of all, you have to give me more than 2 minutes, which is what you threatened us with inside. So I'll take more than 2 minutes, because these are some interesting data points for us to know. In the previous panel, there was a point made, 2 points really. One was that we are all well-meaning people, so therefore we don't track various indices. So we don't know whether someone is a Dalit or SC, ST or whatever it is. And that's so true, because Idea Cellular, we don't track people by religion, by caste, by color, by creed, and by so many things today on which we want to measure whether the organization is delivering. So we don't have that indices. Second point was, which was made initially, that gender, okay, fine, diversity equals gender, let's get over it. You know, it's something that we've been there, we've done that, we conquered the summit, let's move on. If there's one point which I want to make during the course of this panel discussion, it is that we haven't conquered the summit. Far from it. The reality is, and I'll share this with you, some research data for you. McKinsey study of 2013 reveals that financial results improve when at least 30% of boards or senior management is made up of women. Again, same study says that Organizational Health Index found that companies with 3 or more women in top positions, you know, they score higher on this parameter. A Leeds University study reveals that at least having one female director on the board can reduce the risk of going bust by 20% because of the diversity, because of the thinking, because of the perspectives they're able to bring. Also, in another study tracking results from Fortune 500 companies from 2004 to 2008, the boards which had women directors, they found 16% higher return on sales and 26% higher returns in terms of invested capital. These are hard facts. Now let me give you one other hard fact. A study done by Deloitte Consulting over the course of last quarter, which is October to November 2013. And what are the major trends for 2014? The sample group, 2,500 odd people, business leaders, HR leaders, across 94 countries. It's a fairly diverse data set. Across 8 sectors, and let me tell you, consumer business, energy and resources, financial services, life sciences and healthcare, manufacturing, professional services, public sector, technology, media, and telecom. On all the things that the ratings were assigned on, whether leadership or reskilling of HR function or talent acquisition or whatever, diversity and inclusion featured last. In every single industry, across 2,500 plus number of respondents across 94 countries. So very clearly, there is a set of research on one end which makes a compelling case that if there is diversity as represented so narrowly by gender, there are concrete business results, quantified, respectable studies, credible studies. And here is another study which says it's nowhere there in the top priority list of organizations. So that's one point. And normally, I'm an optimist by nature, but I must tell you some of the data points that I collected, in fact, does induce a sense of, pessimism. Very quickly, and I'm conscious of the time. Next year, you can cut my time later.
No, I'm just being a friend to you just now.
Yeah. Sorry?
So I'm being a friend to you, so you can continue for another
I
minute.
appreciate that. Okay. So women population percentage, 48.5. Just look at this. So we are talking about women in leadership positions at board levels, in middle management and junior management. And where is this funnel going to come from? Just hear these data points. Women percentage of the population, 48.5%. Literacy rate above 15 years of age. Women, 47.8%. Men, 73.4%. So you see how at each level, the drag down effect is at work. Higher education enrollment, women 38%, men 62%. And I'll quote a study to you, Global Gender Gap Index, commissioned by World Economic Forum. It's a 2-year-old study. India ranked 113 out of total participating countries of 135. 113 out of 135. And more importantly, on what gets ranked on are 4 parameters: economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, political empowerment, health and survival. On economic participation and opportunity, which therefore will become the funnel where people, graduate towards livelihood, jobs, so on and so forth, the rank was 131 out of 135.
Okay, Vinay, so I'm going to stop you there because I guess
my data set was over. Thank you very much.
There were 20 very interesting, compelling data points that you probably only remember 2.